There was a time in TV history where 3 networks dominated the entire landscape. If you weren't on NBC, CBS, or ABC, you could basically throw in the towel, because no one would see what you're doing anyway. These 3 networks were so ubiquitous that they were simply known as the Big Three. For decades, almost half a century depending on who you ask, these 3 networks put on every show your parents and grandparents talked about, won every award, and claimed every viewer for themselves. I mean, as you can see here, the amount of times that they changed their logo in this period of time was absolutely insane. So I cannot stress enough how out of absolutely nowhere came Fox. They showed up with some funny little yellow people and blew up the entire nomenclature of the Big Three. Now, in 2025, Fox News often pulled in more primetime viewers than CNN and MSNBC combined. There is exactly one person responsible for the imperial success of Fox Corporation. His name is Rupert Murdoch. He is the founder and CEO of 40 years, and I agree with this man on absolutely nothing. So when I tell you that this is an unbelievable businessman and leader, you know that I'm being serious. He truly took this company kicking and screaming into success. He is the kind of leader that shareholders treat like a parent leaving for a business trip, pleading for him to stay. But he can't. He's 94 now. He's suffered severe back injury, seizures, 2 bouts of pneumonia, atrial fibrillation, a torn Achilles tendon, a serious case of COVID-19, and also recently fainted at a breakfast with a journalist. And naturally, the next question is, who comes next? And the answer to that question has been written in stone. But Rupert does not like what the stone says. And he is blowing up everything and everyone in an attempt to change it before he gets lowered into the ground. This is the story of the real-life Succession family. And buckle up, because it is a bumpy ride. On Catboy for just a second before we fully get into this video, I literally cannot even monetize my YouTube channel. So if you want ad-free content, please press the subscribe button down below. I spend hundreds of hours on these videos, and I'm suspecting about 400 views on this. It would make my day. Thank you. As I'm sure you're well aware, corporate and hell, even country succession was pretty simple pre-World War II. You would ask the question, who's my kid? And whoever the answer to that question happened to be, would be who ends up getting the company. And while this used to work back when shareholders thought, oh, they're related, he's probably good at business, people understand people a little bit better now and understand that blood relation means absolutely nothing for business acumen. So today, if you're leaving a business to your son, chances are it is, at the largest, a Euro shop in Linwood, Washington with exactly 1 location. Shout out to Euro Delight, I miss you every day. But while that's not an issue, it is basically universally the case with a singular exception. And of course, the singular exception would be the only businessman on the planet old enough to remember back when it used to be that way. And now, while he likes keeping the business in the family, it's not just his choice to do so as it once was, because now he is contractually obligated in the form of a trust. And that trust was formed after his second marriage, which he got divorced from after 32 years together, his wife Anna. And I will tell you all about her rules and concerns after I tell you that this was the single most expensive divorce in history at the time that it happened, and is still the 4th biggest, even without inflation, which is absolutely insane because that was almost 30 years ago now. Before you feel too bad for poor Rupert here, know that immediately after that, he got married 17 days later to the woman thought to be his affair partner. Worth it, come on, man! But yeah, he got married again 17 days later to the woman thought to be his affair partner, who he then divorced to then get married to his 4th wife, who he then, in a 33-word email in 2023, said he, quote, had much to do, which is absolutely fucking insane. But at least that's all over now. Just kidding. No, it isn't. He got married to his 5th wife last year at the age of 93 years old. You know what? I like Rupert. He's not afraid to ask the question. Why not? You know, at least he is not getting married to a 22-year-old, right? The fact that, no, legitimately, he's capable of walking on his own. It's incredible. There's video of him walking around. Now, get it up. That's actually a different question. We'll ask him. Hey, Rupert, let me pull him up. I'm just gonna give him a call really quickly.
Yes, boy.
Hello, Rupert. Can you still perform sexually?
Am I on camera?
Yes.
Then absolutely. With a raging heart-on.
Okay, that's great. I'll catch up with you later, Rupert, alright?
Okay, son.
What? Yeah, apparently Rupert Murdoch is my real human father. This is great news for me. I assume I'm written into the will. I'll let you guys know. Your dad looks like that picture short film that plays chess. You're talking about Gary's Game? Yeah, it was based on him. And he won, for the record. He also lost, but he also won. Anyhow, we're not here to talk about Anna. Wait, we are here to talk about Anna. We're not here to talk about his 5 different wives. We're here to talk about the trust that he wrote back when the towers were still standing. Also, I'd like to point out that this picture is not of Rupert Murdoch, but you did not even blink at the fact. I couldn't find a picture of him looking like he was writing, so I just looked up old man writing and found this picture. So that shows something about your ability to pay attention. But what Anna wanted was she wanted to protect her 3 children with really cool shirts that all of them really wore back in the 90s. From the left to the right, Lachlan, James, and Elizabeth. And it's not like she's afraid that he won't look out for them at all. I mean, it's his children too. But what he's afraid of is the first wedding, the first marriage, which I did not even show you a picture of that woman, where he had his first child named Prudence. And she's afraid that Rupert is going to say, oh, I love my firstborn child, and we're just going to give her all of the power because that's my firstborn. And so she doesn't just want wealth for her children, she also wants him to give them voting power. And so what she effectively, when we talk voting power here, we're not just talking like, hey, I'd like it if this happens. We're talking like, hey, I'm writing in stone, this thing will happen because I am one of the most powerful voices in the space. So she says and enforces in this trust that each child will have an equal vote. And of course, while Rupert is still alive, he gets 4 votes, so he gets to control everything. But when he dies, all of the 4 votes are equally distributed to the children. Now, the important thing to note about this is that this trust is irrevocable. You cannot change any aspect of this wording, of this nomenclature, of this rule. You cannot skirt around it. It is the law. It's not to be changed later. This is the truth. And so what she's effectively done is she said, okay, Rupert's going to go through this maze and go ahead and just give the company to his firstborn daughter. And then my children will be left with nothing, and I don't like that. So I'm going to put up a wall so that it's impossible for him to complete this maze. But the actual fact of the matter is he was never going to fucking do that in the first place because Prudence fucking sucks. He was never going to fucking do this. Because if you know anything about news media, you know that Fox News is an incredibly opinionated, polarizing, and hard-right news channel. And there is only one of his children that is primed well enough to continue that narrative, and that is his very special boy, Lachlan. Lachlan is a true American patriot who loves hot dogs, who loves guns, and probably germs and steel to go along with it. Whereas his other children, as we've already been over, Prudence is apathetic to most things, Elizabeth is a centrist, which does not work for your Republican channel, and worst of all, is James, who is distinctly and vocally liberal. I mean, look at him. That's a liberal if ever I've seen one. Which does not fly if you believe that your legacy is creating a media platform that promotes your beliefs, right? And so that is why Rupert is absolutely head over heels for the idea of giving Lachlan full control. And to be clear, back in 2019 when Disney acquired Fox, Lachlan was named the CEO of Fox. Now, this could all be fine if they just want to see the money grow. He's proven that he's very good at that. But the issue is, out of all of the children, only 2 of them actually get along with one another. Just fucking kidding, none of them get along with each other. It's a mess. James left his role at News Corp, which is also controlled by the Murdoch family, because of just how much he disagreed with Lachlan. Elizabeth has publicly called out James for prioritizing profits over journalism at a lecture in 2012. But most importantly, in 2023, little boy Rupert Murdoch officially stepped down, officially leaving Lachlan at the helm. And here's the thing. Rupert and Lachlan are afraid. James has always categorically disagreed with Lachlan and wants control to change the narratives that they share. And Elizabeth wants to build something with earnest integrity over profits. And Prudence, well, she just likes having a seat at the table, which, fair. It's a multi-billion-dollar seat. But what they're capable of doing, the three of them, together is vast, because together they'll have 6 votes. And while they may not agree with one another, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And they all have one enemy. And it's the guy who wants to consolidate narrative power and spew what they agree to differing degrees is disinformation. So what would end up happening is that they would all work together and use their 6 collective votes to get rid of Lachlan and vote him off the island because they don't agree with him. And then, afterwards, decide what to do with the remaining assets after he's out, of which there are many. We'll sell some, we'll keep others. Fox is worth billions, who cares? And then James will take over at the helm and slowly turn all the frogs at Fox headquarters gay and make them into woke liberal snowflakes. Again, maybe. That's the fun part about the politics in the workplace. You never know, right? And, for what it's worth, James says that there is no conspiracy to oust Lachlan. And famously, news people don't lie. So that's good. Right? Now, Rupert for a very long time has urged his son Lachlan to take the Disney payout and use it to get rid of his siblings. But that is expensive, and Lachlan likes money, so Rupert says, okay. And when he steps down in 2023, he makes an earnest attempt to change the irrevocable trust, which none of the children like. Actually, that's not true. One of the children very much likes it, but the other children do not. And this is approximately equivalent to dropping a nuclear bomb on your family. And again, I'd like to remind, they are more than capable of buying out the other siblings, but they don't want to do that because that costs more money. So he is quite literally a multi-billionaire using a coupon at McDonald's. And look, this would be one thing if it were fucking over a business associate just for the hell of it, right? But I cannot stress enough how this is a trust he made for his family and ex-wife of 32 years. If my parents were still together, they wouldn't have been married for that long. He argues that they're going to get into a deadlock when his mystery children all end up agreeing for the first time except in pairs, and now they're never going to be able to make a decision. Oh no! And also that the babies over there really like it when Lachlan gets all the snacks. The shareholders love it, so we should do that. All of it is bullshit. But what does he call this attempt internally? You literally will not be able to come up with a funnier name than Project Family Harmony. That is what he names this attempt to literally cut 3 of his children out of power. Hilarious. But let's take a step back for a moment. Now feels like as good a time as any to remind you that while I have blasted through these highlights, this has been a living nightmare for everyone involved for nearly 2 years now. Every day, they would wake up to contemplating how if Rupert can just live another 5 years, the trust expires. Or how Lachlan won't offer more than 60% of market value for their shares, which is embarrassingly bad. Or how the Nevada court ruled that this action was taken by Murdoch in bad faith. I am summarizing literal years of legal strife into a bite-sized piece of content to the point where neither you nor I can truly comprehend it. Wait a fucking second. What did I just say? Holy shit. The law was upheld against a rich white guy? That never happens. Well, now there's only one choice. If Lachlan doesn't want to be voted out of the company, he's going to have to fork over some major cash. Because remember, it's possible for the answer to be, there is no number. If they all decide together that they want to strong-arm Lachlan out of the company, they can do that. But even if it is a number, it's going to be now much more than the $2 billion his dad told him to fork over before, because now they know how desperate he is. Time is running out. And if your dad dies tomorrow, your siblings vote you out of the company. So we're getting an answer one way or another. So when are we getting it? Well, let's see. No. Yes? Yes? We got an answer as of September. Did he die? We got our answer. But I do need to stress to you again. You and we've spent like 30 minutes thinking about this, right? But every day on this calendar is another 24-hour period where this is all they thought about. But we finally do have a winner. Can I get a drum roll, please? What? Oh my god! Is that It's Lachlan Murdoch? Lachlan Murdoch comes out huge! Let's fucking go, Lachlan! Lachlan will be the only one with any voting power in the company upon Rupert's death. All three of the remaining children cease to be beneficiaries of the trust. I'd like to say, the media is positioning it all as Lachlan being the undeniable winner here. But I would like to give a more nuanced take, courtesy of Marissa Marr, who has paid close attention to this family's story for years and was a consulting producer for HBO's Succession just because of how much she knows about them. Prudence, Elizabeth, and James all walked away from the fire and the flames with $1.1 billion in their pocket each as a result of the settlement. Lachlan is $1 billion in debt. And not only that, in order to finance this, the voting stakes owned by the Murdoch family were sold off in a very significant capacity for both Fox Corp and News Corp. And I know that those don't look like huge differences. Remember, we're talking about billions of dollars here. And this isn't just selling something that could appreciate later. This also means that those baby stakeholders from all those slides ago are more important than they used to be. We now need to appease them more, which means that Lachlan will need to play nicer than his dad had to. Now, again, I'd like to remind you the alternative was not great either. But Fox is not the same powerhouse it once was. It is still by far the strongest mainstream news outlet that exists, but podcasters and influencers are becoming a larger and larger source for people's information. And it doesn't seem like that's a trajectory that's going to be changing anytime soon either. And it's not Lachlan, but his incredible father that was capable of making a friend of Donald Trump even as his newspapers doggedly reported on the president's long shadow of ties to Jeffrey Epstein, even as Trump sued him to the tune of $20 billion. Will Lachlan be able to do the same and stay aligned? Only time will tell, but that is an essential partnership that needs to be maintained. The only thing that is absolutely clear is that the Murdochs are an irreparably broken family with absolutely no chance of completely healing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys being here. If you enjoyed this, again, please do press the subscribe button. It helps me out more than you might think. Leave a comment, leave a like, do the things that you've been programmed to do from years of consuming YouTube. It helps me out. And my piece of advice this time, apparently if you clean your sink, you can get rid of the toothpaste that's on the bottom of it. I never really thought about that before, but it's actually true. You can do that. All right. Thank you guys so much. Peace.